before we go any further, please just reset for us where you are and what you're seeing.
Okay, we're here at the corner of 12th and L Street Northwest. Just in front of me, a half a block, is Massachusetts Avenue, and we're near the convention center. So at around 10:30 this morning, according to police, this group of protesters is held right there that you're looking at, up against this building. We're marching down L Street, south on L Street, and police, and you can hear now another flash bomb behind me. Now probably about, and there goes another one. I'm counted at this point 11 bombs that have gone off, and those are just used basically to move the crowd, to try to disperse the crowd. It's very loud if you're right up on top of it. So back again, the protesters were marching down here, and according to police, engaged in some destruction of property, threw some bricks, some mortar into some buildings, and also into some cars. Police came, rounded them up, and held them, and you saw them just a second ago, over here in front of that building. They've been there since about 11 o'clock, processing them one by one, and the ones that they were arresting, they had just finished the last one that they were going to arrest. They were putting them into those vans when there was another confrontation back behind me, and police moved in and moved the crowd from this corner all the way down to about a block, and that's where they're held up right now, and that's where, there goes another flash bomb. I tell you, I've been doing this for a while, and I don't think I've ever experienced anything like this. I've done the IMF protests, the World Bank protests here in D.C., which are very big, but I haven't seen a confrontation like this before.
All right, we're seeing people running now, Horace. Are you seeing this?
So those are the officers.
Your vantage point?
Yeah, when the officers are moving in. Yeah, I don't think you can see it from where he's standing right there on the left side of your screen. That's a camera that's further down the road.
Right.
And the explosions that Horace has been telling us about, those are tear gas canisters that are going off, and you can see the gas to the left side of your screen further down the street. And the police, when they move, they will not move one at a time. They will move as an entire group. They call it a skirmish line. That line will go forward, and they're trying to move or corral the protesters. Usually what they do is they'll push them further down the street right into other officers that are waiting for them there, and they'll take advantage of that and make some arrests. But right now, we understand there's been some damage and vandalism, but all of what you're seeing, and this is clear to make this point, is happening outside the secure area where the presidential parade will be taking place.
Yeah, there are quite a few of these checkpoints. We went through one of them, and you go through security. You go through it just like you would go at the airport. And they check your bags, you walk through the magnetometer. This is all happening, obviously, outside of that. But the police presence, the law enforcement, the National Guard, the people who've come from all over the country to protect the city, they are throughout the city. So these are happening in pockets like we heard near Logan Circle,
right.
DuPont Circle, where Horace is at 12th and L. So, as you said, as we prepare for the inaugural parade, this is not happening far from that by any means, but it is not happening on that street.
It is good to point out, too, watch how fast the officers have regained control of that intersection where the protesters were just a minute ago. They've now moved down where our camera has moved down with them to kind of keep an eye on what's happening. You'll notice in this day and age with protesters, they're very well organized. You have the folks that are the agitators, the ones that are throwing things and causing the trouble. There are others that are videotaping and documenting what's taking place. And then they have medics in the group to treat the needs of the folks who are overcome with some of the tear gas or some of this pepper spray. But again, in this case, when they started throwing concrete blocks at the officers, that's the line you just can't cross, and that's when they will move in. They may not be able to arrest all of them, but they'll certainly make a few arrests and put them in a position and chase them to an area where they'll have a little more control.
And Dave Lucas is here again with us, our good friend from News Channel 8. And Dave, I know we were talking earlier, you've covered, this is your 6th inauguration, and you covered those protests back in 2000. Describe for us, give us your input on what's happening, and if this is something you've seen in our city.
My perspective is that this looks a lot like what happened in April of 2000 at the International Monetary Fund, World Bank demonstrations that turned into full-blown riots. It's the only way you can describe what happened, and it was the same sort of thing. It was wilding in the streets, and protesters, just as you see here, dressed all in black, faces obscured, identities preserved, running up and down the street, throwing rocks and bottles, and in some cases carrying long metal pipes, if memory served, with which they were smashing windows, car doors, anything that was sort of in the area. It happened after similar demonstrations that got out of control in Seattle. And so one of the biggest targets of that 2000 demonstration were Starbucks stores up and down the street, and some of them were virtually destroyed.
Let's get back out to Horace Holmes, who was along one of the routes where some of the protesters were moving past him. Horace?
Yeah, from my vantage point, I think this is the group that we need to watch right now. That's the group of protesters that have been held in that corner up against that building since about 11 o'clock this morning. Police have now started charging more of them, and as you can see, they're taking them again. They were just finishing up, and now they're starting again to take them one by one into the police vans, process them, and eventually take them downtown. The other protesters from different parts of the city, we know one group that came from McPherson Square had gathered here into the mall and been standing and waiting for a couple of hours. It was quiet. They would be chanting, "Let them go, let them go, let them free, let them free." And then just about a half hour ago, there was a confrontation right on this corner right behind me in front of that elementary school between police and the protesters. There was a scuffle, and then police then started firing off those flash bombs, tear gas, and moved this crowd down an entire block. It's been quiet for the past couple of minutes now, where you keep seeing police moving down to help their comrades a little bit farther down, and many of the protesters have circled around. So we see protesters behind us, we see protesters down there. All around us is a ring of hundreds and hundreds of people. So it's by far not a cleared site, but not as tense as it was a few minutes ago. Back to you guys.
And Horace, the police, when they move, I mean, they move with lightning
And as
speed.
I say that, they set off more tear gas.
Yeah, I mean, they move with lightning speed. I mean, they seem, I was just talking about the tactics of the officers. When they move, they are moving very fast as an organized group, and they quickly clear out intersections and streets.
And they were well manned here. There were more than enough, and still are more than enough, as you can see, officers here on the scene, and they were ready for whatever. And I just heard some more tear gas go off, so I cannot see. You probably have a better vantage point than I do about what's going on about a half a block from me, but I'm assuming, because we're hearing more tear gas go off, that situation is not under control down here.
Here's the video Jonathan was talking about of protesters there with pieces of cement, and they're smashing it onto the ground.
Yeah, pulling up the
the
sidewalk there and busting them up into pieces
so they can throw them.
And this is live images here downtown.
You know, these are the kinds of things that really, this is when somebody gets really badly hurt. You take one of those in the head. I mean, so this is the kind of stuff that can get people killed. And, you know, police have to be guarded in how they respond in this day and age, because, again, everything's on videotape. A lot of these protesters will be videotaping on their cell phones to document the one time that somebody... Hold on, let's go back to Horace.
Horace?
Yeah, we have, I think we have an injured officer who's being brought up the street right now. See, we can get some pictures of that as more of those flash bombs, tear gas goes off down the street. You can see the officer being treated. And there's still a crowd gathered here in this little park. All of this is happening just a half a block from where I'm standing right now, and did again start right here on this corner. This particular confrontation now stretching into about 20-25 minutes long between the protesters and police. The only injury we have seen so far from down there is this police officer that they're slowly trying to bring up to get some help, some medical help. We can hear the ambulances coming, but we don't see any just yet in this area. Again, while all of that's going, you could see the protesters who are being led off. The original group of protesters that were held up by police up against this building. One by one, now they're being let off and put into police vans. We've seen 4 or 5 vans that have been filled with the protesters move off. There are 2 or 3 more still here. So I'm sure this scene is going to be quite lively for quite some time this afternoon right here at 12th and L. It's going to take a while before they get that under control, and I'm sure there will be more arrests also. Back to you guys.
Be safe. We appreciate your coverage, and we're going to check back in with you, okay? Please let us know if you have any information to pass along.
And these are just live pictures of the protesters. You can see they keep shooting the tear gas into the groups. As soon as they start to gather in groups, they'll put a canister right there in the group. And they're doing this action now because this group has already proven to be violent. You can see them. They're throwing rocks, concrete, bricks into the lines of officers, and we've already seen one officer who clearly was hurt was being treated, and he was in riot gear. He had a helmet and shield on, and he was being treated by some of his friends who took him away from this particular action.
We want to go to our Richard Reeve, who is at a different position. Rich, please tell us what you're seeing where you are.
Allison, we've heard so much about a nation divided. Well, this is a street divided. Behind me now, Pennsylvania Avenue, and just down below us, we have a lot of Trump folks here. They're waiting to see the new president come by at some point. But just across the street, Joe's going to pan over and show you, over there by the Archive Navy Memorial area over there is a group of protesters who have been gathering pretty much most of the day now, unlike where Horace was, where Sam Sweeney was much earlier. This is relatively subdued. These folks are back there. They're getting louder and louder, but police have a hard line here along this line of protests, and you can see those metal barriers between the protesters and the police. Now, as we mentioned, these are among those 3,000 police officers who've been deputized as deputy U.S. Marshals, and their order essentially is to keep the peace, to keep things secure here in this area along this parade route. Big problem for the authorities right now. What will happen when the new president comes through on his motorcade? You have these protesters on one side, you have Trump supporters on the other side. Police obviously hoping to keep calm. We'll just have to see what happens. Back to you guys.
All right, Rich, thanks very much. Yeah, we're just kind of keeping an eye on things. All this, again, is outside the perimeter of the secure area. Where Rich is, you have these big fences blocking up people. They can't really get out into the street and shake the president's hand per se. But again, these are live pictures of the 12th and K area, and that's where you see now the riot police with their shields up are just going to push into the protesters and get them further away from the secure area where the parade is taking place.
And we see these flashes of smoke there in the distance. Horace said he heard it at least 11 or 12 times. From our understanding, it is likely smoke, not tear gas. Right. We don't know for sure, but it seems that's the best bet at this point. If we hear something else, we'll let you know. So we're monitoring the situation very closely. These are pockets of protests that are popping up throughout the city, some of them converging with other pockets and creating these larger groups. If you look on the right, that video is from earlier, running down the street there in front of the McDonald's.
Right.
And then what we see on the left here is just about a block down from where Horace is, from my understanding. He's at 12th and L. And this video is just a little bit further down from where he is. So he's hearing this activity and watching the people there. But it's interesting, he had that group of protesters, he said, who they had them backed sort of up against that wall since 11 o'clock this morning. And some of them, he said, were being charged.
Well, now some of them are being arrested one at a time. You can't just go in and grab the whole group.
Right.
That makes things a little difficult. That's when things get a little ugly. So if you can take them out one at a time, it goes a lot easier that way. They have been doing that. They've been making some arrests. But again, you had a lot of protesters converging on the district that wanted to be a part of this inauguration, but not in the way that a lot of folks who have come to the parade route to watch the president come down with the marching bands and the folks who are participating in the parade. Now, this, again, what you're seeing is all outside the secure perimeter area where the parade will take place. So the parade route is already lined. There are folks out here who have signs of protest. There are a lot of folks out here with Trump paraphernalia, so clearly supporters. But what you're seeing here, again, is maybe about 3 to 5 blocks off the parade route outside the secure area. But again, this gives you an idea of the manpower that is out here. There are thousands of police officers from across the country here that are all helping out. They don't need to know the city, they just need to know the antics and tactics of some of the agitators and protesters that they're up against.
Okay, let's check back in with Horace Holmes there at 12th and L. Horace, what's the activity like right now?
Well, we were able to move around the corner down to 12th and K to actually, now you can see the back side of the police line right there, and you can see the protesters on the other side of police, sort of in a standoff situation. We're just going to stay here for a minute and watch what's going on. So you see the 2 lines of police, one right in front of us in the second line a little bit farther, and then the protesters on the side. And then we can see on the ground, Marty, if you could pan down to the ground, you could see the pieces of brick and concrete that Jonathan, you were talking about. They were being smashed and thrown at police. And you can also see some of those smoke bombs, what's left of them, that police have set off. But it's very much a standoff right now. Everything is quiet at this point. The protesters are just kind of mulling around, and there's police everywhere. Ironically, at the same time, there are a large group of just spectators who've been lining the streets right here behind me. We're about a block from the convention center, and people who would come out just to watch the inaugural events in this area are out now watching this. You can see the folks standing up over by the church over there, just watching what's been happening out here. Of course, there's been a lot of noise, and see if we can turn back around, Marty, to the crowd. And it again is very, very, very tense situation. So the police, Jonathan and Allison, have moved them from the original location at 12th and L. They have moved them down to K Street 1 block and then around the corner onto K Street. So that's the situation right now. It's still extremely tense and very much a standoff, and hopefully this crowd will disperse and no one else gets hurt. But again, we did see that one police officer had been pulled out of the area and was taken up to get some help, but we have not seen any other injuries at this point.
What happened to that officer, right? You haven't heard, Horace, if he was just struck with an object or what happened? Yeah.
Horace, it seems like they're hurting
that
these.
appeared to be what happened.
Okay.
And Horace, it does look like they're kind of hurting the protesters. Which way are they pushing? They're pushing them further away from the parade route?
We've got 2 sets of protesters that we're looking at. The group that's on 12th Street, and there's a you see the line of police officers, and you see them pushing them back. So you can see it yourself right now if you look at our pictures. They're pushing them back towards downtown, away from the parade route, yes. And this other group who's to our right on K Street, they're just at a standoff right now. I'm sure police will be pushing them a little bit towards 14th Street, and I believe there's another group of police officers on the other side of that. So we have to watch very carefully when police start moving the crowd to see how the crowd responds to that. But
And you said they were arresting some of these folks one at a time.
Just a standoff at this point.
Horace, they're arresting them one at a time. They're still doing that. That process goes on.
Yeah, that was the okay. Here we go. Now, what basically happened there was the crowd took a few steps towards the police officers, and here you see. Wow. You see,
Here come the rocks and the bricks.
there go the rocks and the bricks, and then police now setting off. I do not believe that's tear gas. I do believe those are just smoke bombs. But you see them going off. And again, what started this is the crowd took 2 or 3 steps towards those officers, and the officers started to move them back. and this is what we've got.
Right. As you described earlier, it was a standoff, and that was what made the next move. They proceeded toward those officers. The line started to move,
Okay.
and they pushed toward them.
Rubber bullets, rubber bullets, rubber bullets, rubber bullets.
Now we see one officer. See, one officer was hurt right there because the canister was thrown back at him, and it hit him. He's back in action.
And that's in your line of sight, Horace, right? That top right that we're seeing
Yeah.
is what you're
Yes.
referencing. Okay.
Probably about 30, 40 yards from where I'm standing.
And there they are breaking up more bricks so they can throw bricks at the officers. And those canisters, when they pick them up and they try and throw them back, if it goes off in their hand, I mean, they're on their way to the hospital. I mean, this is just, this is the kind
Absolutely.
of thing. Yeah,
And that's why you're seeing a number of them go off. You're seeing a number of them go off in the air as they're throwing them back. And that's a good example right there. That was a canister that was being thrown at the crowd, and then
Hey,
one
Horace,
being thrown back at police.
How many protesters are we looking at? Is this like 3 or 4 dozen? What are we looking at?
In that group, now they're moving down 13th Street. They're moving around the corner at this point. The protesters have moved, look like they're moving off of K Street and going down 13th.
Horace, be careful out there. Horace, he's spraying. Be
No,
careful.
this is more than just. Yes, it's more than just a couple of dozen. Marty, what did you say? About 100 or so, or more? Yeah. Oh, 100 or so or more. And you see now here, police are on the run. Here and down. Here in downtown Washington, the day of the inauguration. Right here, that action going on at this point at 13th and K Street.
Yeah, we appreciate the pictures, Horace, but please be careful out there with your crew.
Let me tell you, that crowd has moved, but we do have another crowd that we have to keep an eye of, protesters and police down this way. Down that way.
So they're
which is,
basically converging
down
now.
12th Street. Yes, at this point.
And Horace,
And then we have the original group that police, are processing still and have surrounded, are back at the original spot at 12th and L, which is a block from where I'm standing right now.
So we're still about
It's been quite a
45 or
scene.
40 minutes away
been quite
from
a scene.
the presidential parade starting. All of this is playing out. You know, the protesters certainly wanted to have their say and get their time on television, and mission accomplished for them. But again, we're about 40 minutes away from the parade coming down Pennsylvania Avenue and Constitution Avenue. So we've got some time here. But you know, it seems to be getting very tense. It seems to be getting even bigger as some of these groups now seem to be converging in certain areas and working together.
Horace, are you still with us?
Rush. The police don't. Yes, I am. Allison, the police don't want to rush clearing this area out. They don't want to rush it, so they're going to take their time and make sure that they use this. It is very much a standoff and very tense. As you can see,
While you're talking, we're watching the Shash. People helping him here. He definitely looks hurt, and it looks like they're trying to get him some help. Is that something you're able to see where you're standing?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you see it from?
And you're behind.
Can you see that in our camera?
We saw that for a moment. We're
officer-
off of that shot now, but we did see that.
Yeah, we should let folks know at home, we've got 3 or 4 cameras set up in the area around where this is taking place. 12th and K and 12th and L, this is where this is all playing out right now.
No KKK, no fascist USA.
So as far as that officer is concerned, there's several soldiers, several members of the military who have come to, I think it's his aid at this point. So he's being treated.
Okay.
But again, I have not seen any ambulances in the area yet.
I'm struck by a
There are a
couple
number
of things.
of members of the military who are down in this area helping with security, and now we're starting to see them. If you're looking at our pictures right now, you can see them helping to clear K Street and helping the police.
The National Guard, yeah. And Horace, you're behind the
National
police.
Guard, yeah.
You're behind the police line, right? I mean, are you in a place where you feel somewhat protected or safe, or not at all?
Oh yeah, I mean the police are not going to allow us to get any closer than we are right now. You can see the police officers standing right in front of us.
Good, okay, good.
And we know police have come from around the country with riot gear, and that's what we're seeing here. The National Guard that showed up, over 7,500, you haven't seen any of them in riot gear. They were told not to even wear a sidearm, so they don't have any weapons with them. They're just there sort of as a backup or some help and also a presence.
And Horace, while you're there, please jump in whenever you need to help us out here, and please keep us apprised on what's happening. We also have Dave Lucas back with us. And Dave, I'm interested in hearing from you as well. You said you were struck by something here.
Think about where this is, too, in terms of a strategic place in downtown D.C., 7th or 12th and L, 12th and K, somewhere around in there. Very much the heart of insider Washington. It is not necessarily official Washington. It's a business center. It is a lobbying center. It is a commercial center. There's lots going on right down there. I am also fairly well convinced that what we're seeing here, they're watching over at the White House and talking about to the folks up here on Capitol Hill. And so I wouldn't be surprised if the luncheon takes longer than had been planned, and maybe that there are some strategic decisions being made about the parade itself and how exactly you get the president from there back down Pennsylvania Avenue.
And the parade is supposed to start about 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some flexibility obviously, but at some point, and folks at home are probably saying, why don't they arrest these guys? We're talking about maybe 100 plus people, and you don't really know who's involved. They have to figure all that out. It takes a little time, and so they're not in a rush. They don't want to have pandemonium. They don't want to create a riot.
Earlier, and what we saw was there were people surrounding that Starbucks and that.
Let's go over to Q McCrae. He's out with protesters as well. Q, what are you seeing out there?
Oh, well, listen, we're out there up East Street and 13th Northwest, and it's really a standoff right now between the police officers and these protesters who have been chucking cinder blocks, pieces of cinder blocks at the police officers here who have lined up in their skirmish line. This has been going on for at least the last 10 minutes, and in response, the police officers have been throwing and launching flash bombs at the protesters who have been throwing rocks at them and other things. We're also seeing some, I'm not sure if they're with the professional media, but there are a lot of people out here with their cell phones and and personal cameras taking shots and getting close to the police officers. And when that happens, they don't know who the people are at this point. They've told us, the networks to move back onto the side streets, but a lot of the people you're seeing out here, if we pan over to the right a little bit, all the people out here, they have their cameras, but the police don't know who they are. They don't have credentials on them. They simply have their cameras with them. So there's been times when the police officers have launched flash bombs into that crowd that you're looking at right now. But again, in that crowd of people with cameras, a lot of protesters who have been throwing rocks, bottles, just about anything they can find in the streets at these police officers who have been lined up here on the corner of K and 13th Northwest for the last 5-10 minutes right now. Maybe 5-10 minutes ago, they were launching, we can hear the blasts from the flash bombs. They were spraying people with what I'm assuming was pepper spray. Our photographer, Mike Vaughn here, got some of it in his eye. He's doing okay, though. Just a crazy situation out here right now. And I think, again, the intersection of 13th and K Street.
We should let folks know what you're looking at. On the right side is the protest that's happening outside the secure area. The left side of your screen, that is the parade route, that is the secure area. You do not see any of the kind of rioting and unrest that you see on the right side. In fact, if anything like that happened on the left side of your screen, you would see a swarm of officers go in and pull the people out and arrest them and take them away. The secure area, these people have been screened, they've gone through metal detectors, and they've been looked over by layers of security as far as who they are and what they represent. That's not to say there aren't protesters here. We've seen in this secure area lots of folks with signs protesting Donald Trump, and they're welcome to be there. It's not an issue, but they're not going to be able to cause any trouble like we're seeing here over on 12th and K and 12th and L.
Well, and of course, throughout the lead up, Jonathan, to the inauguration festivities, law enforcement have said from the beginning, everybody obviously has the right to be here and to protest. It's when they break the law that they will be arrested. And so, as Horace said, we are seeing some arrests today, and we're seeing some violence. And these smoke bombs that the law enforcement officers are using to try to disperse the crowds is their first line of defense, right? They have the skirmish lines you were talking about. They can push forward toward these crowds to break them up a little bit, and then they have those smoke bombs that they've been using throughout the afternoon where Horace is to also try to do that. But again, everyone knew there would be protests today, and everybody who's protesting is well within their right to do so until a law is broken.
So you start throwing cinder block and bricks. Is Horace Holmes still with us? All right, we're trying to get.
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Horace, walk us through. What are you seeing now there? What's happening?
On the screen yet.
Okay, at this point, and still hasn't changed much, except for we're seeing some smoke rise from where we're there, and to my left, down East Street, we're supposed to move the crowd yet a little bit more. Can you see them down there, Marty? Let me move around so you can see. So they've moved that crowd a little bit more. We've got this crowd behind me, and then we do have a crowd of protesters who have gathered. Marty, if we can look behind us, again, along with other people, just spectators who have been in the area. So we're kind of sandwiched in the middle of this, and then again, as I look back down K Street to 11th, 11th, that crowd of protesters that are being arrested by police are still there at that point. It's quiet right now.
And Horace, do you have a lot of, not just the agitators, the folks out there protesting out there, but the looky-loo people curious standing around?
Oh, yeah, lots of people have been back around and take those are people in suits. Those are people who may have been to a service or may have been here. A lot of people down the street probably coming in place for them to see what they could see in this area, and a whole lot.
Thank you. And we want to go to Hugh McCrae. Our lighting.
A live look. Again, the 13th and K Street. The protesters out here have got benches, but trash lit them on. This has been going on for the last 5 minutes. It looks like our move. We also see some other that's been going. People have been vandalizing on the street. This will be a vehicle, crap, and even over. Tagged is the side and so one's being targeted by this violence, livelihood right the crowd. Let's see if we can go quickly. Pull out here, but there are five here who are throwing up maybe yards away from where we are right now. See if we can give you the fires going on. Right now was the protest. Just the protest, starting fires. This is the scene. This is the intersection. You know, the scene.
Q was out there protesting.
You know what, Jonathan? You know, the stop of racism, election, period. Whatever Donald Trump stands, that's what they're. Now, people and attacking police. No, a couple of guys. Worth, you know, one wrong message. The rest of the. In all honesty, Trump. Without getting any further escalated.
Hey Q, how far away are
what? And show them that officers, that skirmish line that you guys have been seeing is right underneath that traffic signal. So they're not too far away. Now, what, about 20 minutes or so ago, they were launching flash bombs into this crowd to try to, you know, have them disperse. That did, compared to what was, you know, 50. But who knows what might happen if some of these protesters start throwing rocks at the police officers who are lined up not too far away.
All right, Q, listen, keep your wits about you. Be careful out there, will you? Just pay attention to what's happening around you. Be safe, okay?
Got it.
All right, let's go back over to Horace Holmes. He's on the other side of what we're looking at here. Horace?
Yeah, we're seeing more police officers move in because the crowd behind me has grown. And I tell you what, it's getting very tense, but it is quiet. So you see more officers have been brought in to hold back this crowd. And we've been listening to a number of the protesters who very much want to be able to join this other group back over here. But of course, police are not going to let anybody pass their line right here. I was listening to Q talking about the fires we can see from our end as you look down K Street. You can see the black smoke coming up. So we've got this from both angles, looking at what's going on right there. Again, it's been quiet at that point for several minutes at this point. Over here, down 12th Street, it's been quiet, and up 12th Street to L Street, it's been quiet. You were talking about members of the National Guard, and you can see them walking towards us. They've jumped in and helped to clear out all of the debris, and a number of those newspaper boxes were thrown in the middle of the street. They are now policing the area. They've been able to put those back in place. They helped when one of the officers went down momentarily. That officer has been taken off. He seems to be just fine at this point. So they're not right in the midst of the police line, but you can see them working and helping out here.
How many
So
of the
that's
people
situation
standing,
is we're just
Horse,
hoping-
are the folks standing just to your
Yeah.
right side, are those just people who are watching, or are those some of the protesters?
Those are mostly protesters who are right here to my right. They've kind of circled the entire area. We've got protesters here and down the street, so we're right in the middle of where all of the around us. Here we have 100 protesters.
Have they specifically?
Well, this all started with that march down L Street in a very long time. L Street. So I guess the other protesters inside of that group, big crowd, started out as a really protesters who chant them go. All of a sudden, very large protesters in that area, and that's what started all of that. That was held at 12. Ones that the fans for an hour or so they grew. The crowd grew, came here, chanted. Let them go, and then that crowd got so big that there was a confrontation, and that's what's led us to what we are seeing right now.
Right, and as we said a minute ago, Horace, that DC police are reporting they've arrested 95 protesters. I wonder, do you get a sense most of those are in the area where you are or scattered throughout the city?
Yeah. That sounds about right from the number that we've kind of been counting. And at this point, they're only those people who were up there on L Street, the ones that they were taking one by one, who they had kind of trapped up against that building. One by one, they're putting them in vans, and then the vans go off to DC jail. So I don't think anybody else has been arrested yet.
All right, Horace. Thank you. Please monitor that for
and
us.
again, Allison.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say that we have not seen any major injuries. We have not seen ambulances in here taking people out. I know that there are a number of people who have been suffering because they got hit by pepper spray and tear gas, but we have not seen people. We've only seen one protester who was taken off in an ambulance earlier this afternoon.
So, Horace, as all of this is unfolding there near the 12th and K, 12th. Our vantage point here at the Embassy of Canada, with the Capitol behind us, we can see the beginnings of the inaugural parade. We can see first in line, which, if our list here is correct, the 1st Cavalry Division Horse Detachment from Fort Hood, Texas. So they are lining up to begin the parade, which is supposed to start at 3 o'clock.
I think what they're doing is they're getting everybody set up on some side streets and getting ready to go, because one of the military because
Yeah.
a lot to get folks together, so they're putting them all. They start going. Something
One
else.
of our national it out, and I'm sure JJ wouldn't mind if I read you his tweet. He says, law enforcement sources tell me they expect running protests like this for the foreseeable future. So apparently what we're seeing there now is something that we should expect, that the guerrilla war, if you will, is broken out, and it's not going to, according to JJ Green, who again is very well plugged in Homeland Security sources locally and nationally, says this is going to last for a while.
Well, again, it's for police, you have a limited number of choices of how to handle this and what to do. I mean, they could run into these lines, grab everybody and handcuff them and take them away. I mean, it's a process to deal with that. And a lot of these folks, some of them are just sitting around watching. They're really not protesters per se, but they're curious.
This is outside sort of the exclusion zone too, and what you don't want to do is to take away the resources that are inside over here, whose job it is to protect the the folks who are lined up and down Pennsylvania Avenue right now, and all the folks who will be in that parade. So you've got this duality of missions. You have to keep the peace where you can, but you also have to protect it at all costs. The president and everybody else who's involved in the inaugural parade, which, if you go by the timeline, we're about 15 minutes away from. It would not surprise me a little bit that they're delayed some.
Right, and pretty much anybody who was trying to get down here and get to their seats, if they didn't do it early, they got in the middle of
Let's get to Q.
Let's get
Q's
to Q
right in the
McCrae.
middle of it.
Q, what's going on now?
Oh.
Q, can you hear us?
Oh, yeah, I can. Sorry, things just got really hectic. It looks like some vehicle. It looks like it may have been a police vehicle after all, but just went through the crowd and people got excited. So, here's what's going on now. So since we last spoke, the fire's still going in the middle of the street here at the corner of K and 13th Northwest. And I showed you that limo earlier. Well, take a look. People are actually looting that limo now. They were going inside, pulling out alcohol and water. You might see some people drinking water now, little bottles. Those bottles are from this limo that was parked here at the corner of 13th and K. People are taking selfies in it. Looks like some people are inside it right now, recording some video. And obviously they don't have the right to be in there right now. Looks like somebody just got in the front seat, as a matter of fact. So people are getting they're getting wild out here. You would hope things would calm down after the fires and the flash bombs and all, and the chucking of cinder blocks toward police officers, but that's not the case. People are now looting this limo that doesn't belong to them. The media vehicles as well have been vandalized here on K Street. When it comes to the fire, we can show you that now. Looks like the crowd here has kind of dispersed a tad. Let me walk you through the crowd here. Here's the fire we've been about. Again, right in the middle of the street, people picking up the, trash cans, benches, and setting it ablaze. This fire now been going on for at least the last 20 minutes. Why? Who knows? But the reason why people are out here is because they are upset about our new president, President Donald Trump. That is why the majority of them say they are out here protesting today.
Thank you. I'm curious, the officers and the law enforcement National Guard, are they just standing all together in those police lines? Are they mingling through the crowd, or is it a little bit of both?
Right now, their skirmish line stands strong. I'll just put it like that. Their skirmish line stands strong right now on 13th Street. They've been there for the last 30 minutes or so. I think you saw them in horses shot maybe 45 minutes to an hour ago, making their way up K Street. Well, they have stopped. And this is what's happening in front of them, about 50, 60 yards ahead of them. With this fire right now and the vandalism that's going on to cars that are parked on the street. It's a sight to see, and it's sad. There are people out here who are generally concerned about other people's safety, while there's others, and the majority of them have their faces covered right now. They're the ones who are the agitators, who are doing everything they can to get this crowd pumped up again to start some more trouble. So there are good people out here, but there are some people who don't have the right mindset right now, if I can put it that way.
Q, do you also have, because I understand the way the police are working, not everybody's going to be in uniform. You'll have plainclothesmen that'll go through the crowds and try and identify the real troublemakers and sort of just pull them out and see if that's kind of the head of the snake effect. You've been seeing some of that as well?
Not where I am, Jonathan. Not where I am. Actually, you know what? How about this? Let's try to walk through the crowd again and show you where the that skirmish line is. And you'll notice a lot of people out here, a lot of people, FaceTiming, a lot of people on social media, a lot of international press over here to my left, a lot of local media as well. If we can give you a look here. Way through the crowd. It looks from our vantage line. In their skirmish, protesters with on. You know what? To get a good look, right? This is on right now. As police officers. In the what looks like media people look like they have you know their HD cameras out. I'm not talking little cell phones or anything like that, but
hold on 1 second, buddy. Hold on.
as well. Yes.
Let's go inside of the luncheon. Nancy Pelosi, minority leader right now, is speaking. Let's listen to her.
We know that Vice President Pence is strengthened by his faith, by his family, and by the foundation of experience he built here in this halls. I told him, Mr. President, he knows the territory. He knows the territory. It is now my honor to present one of the flags that flew above the Capitol today to the Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence. We pray for you, for your beloved wife, Karen, for Michael, Charlotte, and Audrey, all of your family. God bless you, Mr. Vice President. And remembering that this flag that we pledge to every day for liberty and justice for all is our calling. I look forward to working with you. Now it's my honor to present you with this flag.
We are looking at a welcome home rally for former Vice President Joe Biden taking place in Delaware. And on the left, we want to go ahead and listen in to Senator Blunt presenting more gifts to the guests.
Thank you. And on behalf of the Planning Committee, we welcome you to the Chase Center here on the beautiful riverfront in Wilmington, Delaware. Thank you so much. It is indeed comforting to come together, as we often do here in Delaware, as friends and as family, and sometimes as people meeting for the first time. You know, we've come together today from throughout the state and throughout the region to celebrate a very special occasion as we welcome home Joe and Jill. We begin today's celebration with a prayer.
So, Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, and Mrs. Trump and Mrs. Pence, a gift that you're going to have a chance to look at more later and a lot more over the years is something that really a tradition that started now. This is the 8th inauguration where the Lennox Company has made a special presentation of a gift made uniquely for each of you and uniquely for this event. This year, the company proposed and the committee determined that the bowl they had in mind was something that you would value for a long time. The one that the President has and the First Lady has is an etching of the White House looking directly across at the Jefferson Memorial. And the one that the Pences will be presented with and have at their home would be the Capitol looking down at the Lincoln Memorial. The artist who was with us the other day talked about trying to capture LaFont's design for the city as well as how this city came together. Timothy Carter was the designer. The glassmaster Peter O'Rourke made these. They also have a compass in the bottom of them, or an etched-in compass and remembering, Mr. President, as the Vice President already knows.
As we have seen with tradition at the luncheon right now, the President and Vice President are being given gifts by members of both houses. In this case, it's crystal bowls. But while this is playing out and we're still a good maybe 15, 20 minutes away from the parade getting started, let's switch back over to what's happening on the streets of D.C. And Horace Holmes is out now talking with the protester.
Okay, hang on.
Horace, what are they saying out there?
Well, I've got Amy here, who's from Alexandria. She was with the original group that was marching down L Street and got cornered by police. What started all of that? What started the confrontation with police?
I didn't see the actual confrontation that happened with the tear gas and the flash bombs, but in the beginning, we all got stopped, and I was told that there were people getting arrested in front, and they were basically a bunch of people in black. But I honestly don't think anybody was doing anything violent. I just didn't think that I don't think they liked how they were dressed.
Well, police are saying that the protesters were destroying property, throwing bricks through car windows, store windows. Did you see any of that?
I did not see any of that.
So then they moved in and cornered that group that's probably at this point still up there at 11th Street.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And this confrontation down here on K Street, you were in the middle of that one also.
Yeah, I was kind of in the middle of both. All I know is I just when the police started bringing out the tear gas, and I dropped away, so I kind of lost which group I was in.
Did you come out here for violence?
I did not. I came out here to make a point that there's a lot of people that are really angry because he's president, because he's a bigot and a racist, and he's not going to be a good president for all the people. A lot of people are going to be in danger. I just came out here to make a point and let my voice be heard, but not for violence.
You didn't expect to see this?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Amy. That's Amy from Alexandria. They're from really the beginning of what's been going on in this 1 or 2 block area. We are, again, on the other side of the pictures that you've been seeing from Q McCrae. And we're looking down K Street right there. The standoff continues. We have protesters down there. We have protesters to my right. We have protesters to my left and in front of me also. But it has been very quiet for the past several minutes, and this crowd over here, right where we are right now, is dispersing a bit, and we can only hope that all these crowds disperse in the next few minutes and we can bring some peace back to the streets of D.C. Back to you guys.
The people that we're looking at right now, I'm curious, I mean, are any of the people that you're around still trying to get down to the parade route? Or are these people who are going to be staying right where they are through the afternoon? I mean, the people we're looking at right here don't look like they're protesting.
Yeah, but they found something to look at.
Okay.
I think the people, a while ago were probably making their way down and then stumbled onto this. Mm-hmm. Those folks up here, there were spectators. They appear to have moved on at this point. So we have media, basically, a few protesters, and then just a few other people who are in the area. That's what we've got.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Horace. Stay safe once again. And
Sure.
Q McCrae, the same thing goes there for Q. And as we saw earlier, things are well underway at the luncheon. We heard from Senator Blunt. We heard from Nancy Pelosi. And as soon as that wraps up after the benediction by the House chaplain, by the way.
Have life and breath.
Let's listen in here. Paul Ryan.
As long as you have life and breath, believe. Ladies and gentlemen, there was no one that I have served with who brings more belief to his work than Mike Pence. No one believes more deeply in our country and her people. No one believes more deeply in our capacity to do great things. He is a happy warrior. The president could not have chosen a better partner for this work than Mike Pence. So, Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, we raise our glasses to you, to Karen, and to your beautiful family. May you have every blessing and success as the 48th Vice President of the United States of America. Sláinte.
Well, the theme of the